Candace.
And I'm Ripley.
And I'm John.
And this is Comicsplaining.
The show where we're playing 12D bingo.
Among other things. We just had a cat.
Sorry, co-host number 4 just, walked onto the desk briefly.
Walked onto set and then walked off of set.
And is now walking around set.
I think she fancies herself some kind of producer.
Yeah.
Riding on the fucking coattails.
Just checking in on the situation.
Taking a cut of the money.
You know how it is with cats.
Spending it all on cat blow.
I mean, what else is catnip?
Cat weed.
We have free cat weed. We grew it ourselves.
We do.
Actually, it wasn't free because I did buy it.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's not cat weed, it's cat salvia. Keep your drugs straight.
Okay, I don't know anything about drugs, and you know this about me. Not to out myself as a complete loser.
So I believe it's in the mint. I believe they're all in the mint family.
Yes, catnip is in the mint family.
So yeah, salvia is too. It's something that we can get high on.
On catnip?
I think
on a relative of catnip.
there's something we could do with catnip, actually, but I don't know what it is.
Turn it into tea?
Well, yeah.
Make catnip brownies.
Yeah.
That sounds so lame.
That sounds gross.
Sounds disgusting.
Yeah, so our bingo is in a bit of disarray.
Yeah. We did go through our bingo cards, but that was after I made the bingo cards. But we also really don't know what's coming anyway, so we're kind of in a state of bingo anarchy at this point in time.
We're Stanless, and it's terrifying.
Stanger is still on here, but I think it was fair to leave it for one more because he put us in this mess.
I mean, you know, who knows how long we'll be angry at Stan for things.
Nah, but I think that space should go away next time.
Fair.
Yeah, it's only here because we stopped in the middle of a fucking story that Stan set up. So everything that happens from here on is still Stan's fault, even though he's not writing.
Imagine being that guy.
You did this.
Stan! I don't even have that space either.
Wow, I don't think I do either, so that was really pointless. Hey, if you want your own bingo card, this one time only, it will still have Stanger. Just join our Discord and I'll get you a Stanger bingo card. I got the hookup. It's me.
Mm-hmm. So, well, speaking of cats and drugs, I took Frankie, our other cat, I took her to the vet this past week because she was just due for her regular checkup, but also because she is absolutely terrified of Chai Latte, the new cat, and she has always been extremely anxious because she has wobbly cat syndrome, and that's just how she is.
Yep.
So I talked to the vet about it, and he gave me a prescription for her. So now our cat is on Prozac.
The way I understand it, it's just human Prozac.
It is human Prozac. I have to cut it into fourths, which is not as easy as you think.
I have an idea. I have a pill cutter. No, it isn't that easy to start cutting.
I don't have a pill cutter. So...
It would be hard enough with a pill cutter. I can only imagine how fun it is without one.
Yeah, I mean, with my old cat, I did this for a very long time because he had to take medicine for his thyroid, so it's not like I'm inexperienced.
And he did not like it.
He did not like it.
Mm.
But it's not like I don't have experience in this realm, but having experience doesn't make it easier. Because no matter how hard I try, sometimes the pill will just disintegrate and there's nothing I can do about it.
Other than hope she swallowed the pill sludge.
Right.
Swallowed enough of the pill.
So our cat is on Prozac, and the thing about this that really struck me is, I mean, first of all, very funny that she's just on human Prozac. Like, I got it from a regular pharmacy. But also how much easier it is to get Prozac for my cat than it would be to get Prozac for me if I wanted that.
What a country!
I mean, not to get, like, too personal, but I have tried getting into, like, therapists and shit. It's really hard, and I've never actually managed to do it.
Even when you can't afford it, it's fucking hard.
But, despite all of our human problems, all it took was one visit to the vet to get Frankie some Prozac. So
Frankie's still really upset. Frankie needs more Prozac.
She's only been taking it for 2 days, so...
It usually takes a little longer for humans.
No, I would say go back to the vet and be like, Frankie needs more Prozac. Frankie's not feeling so hot.
I see.
Just, could you hook me up with another script for the other cat?
She's still really anxious.
Yeah.
Actually, Chai Latte is also anxious. Chai Latte needs some Prozac too. And, we need, 4 times the dose.
Right, not cat size. Well, isn't that just, you're cutting it up so it's just, regular?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It would just be a normal pill.
Yeah, I need 4 times the dose because my cat is, 120 pounds.
4 times the dose is just a regular.
I know, but the dosage
That's true, the number of pills.
Right, well, if you don't specify that, you won't get the right number.
That's true.
Because we only have 15 pills.
Yeah,
But Ripley wanted me to talk about the cat being on Prozac, so I did.
I said it after you said it. You make this out like I led with this. Yeah, we're getting ready for the show. Can we talk about how the cat's on fucking Prozac now?
Well, I just think that in and of itself is funny. The way it led into us getting into our personal problems was less funny.
Yeah.
Well, then why don't we talk about the funny comics that no longer have Stan in them?
Yeah, this is our first time reading Thor without Stan.
I'm scared.
And that's why our bingo is fucked up.
Yeah, that's why our bingo is all fucked up, because we don't know what Stan tropes are going to be sticking around. And
we don't know what tropes Jerry Conway is going to be introducing.
Maybe Jerry Conway's going to lead with everything is in the second person again, and that's just what Jerry does.
Maybe Jerry is just okay, everything Stan did, I'm going to keep doing it.
Oh, I didn't make it big. Sorry.
Okay, I got it.
You also got to click the other thing. Yeah.
Well, let's, I guess, get into it and find out.
Yes.
We have totally changed the design of the front covers for Marvel now. It's been a very jarring adjustment.
Yeah.
Pardon. Leaving Stan and going on to Jerry here, because now the cover's all different too.
Jerry Conway, what have you done?
I mean, honestly, I think in a way, the middle part with the illustration is actually a lot better than a lot of the old covers were. Because the old covers tended to be kind of vague and weird.
True.
Sometimes.
But this one is actually it's an actual scene that's depicting what's going to happen in the comic.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And I do think that's because it's in a smaller space. Because it's more confined. Given all that, let's go ahead and get into Thor number 193. From August of 1971. Written by Jerry Conway. Penciled by John Buscema, inked by Sal Buscema, and lettered by Artie Simek. Can you guys tell me, first of all, what happened last time?
Thor died.
What happened before that?
Well, Odin killed Death, and that had problems.
Yeah, Death being Hela, of course, not the skeleton with titties.
Yeah.
Which is a different Death.
Are we gonna meet the skeleton with titties?
Eventually.
Anyway, so that caused problems, and then Thor was like, this is fucked up, just, undo this. Then Hela came back, and then killed Thor, and then unkilled Thor, and was like, I'll get you another time when you actually die.
I'll get you next time, Gadget!
Why did she unkill him?
I don't fucking remember.
Selflessness?
Yeah,
because
Sif appealed to her as a woman.
Right, that thing.
That nonsense.
The end of Stan is very unmemorable.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
And that happened, and then something completely unrelated and pointless and worse happened.
Yeah.
But, Loki came to take over Asgard, only it was stupid.
Loki took over Asgard while they were gone.
Yeah.
So they came back and found that Asgard had been taken over.
Right.
And that Loki had the Odin ring.
Right.
Again.
Right.
The story we've already done.
Already done it.
And Loki ordered Odin to go to sleep, and Odin was like, fine.
I guess that I have to do it. He has the Odin ring. That's how the Odin ring works.
There's nothing else I can do.
And I don't remember what happened other than that, but it was all stupid.
Well, Thor fought Loki.
They had a very sibling fight.
And then Loki and Carnilla collaborated to make Durok the Demolisher.
Right, Durag the Demolisher.
And then Loki sent Durok to Earth, and Thor followed to go fight him.
He went off to fight Original the character, Do Not Steal.
And then they went to a couple different places, and then Loki was like, hey, while you're busy saving Earth from Durok, I'm gonna marry Sif.
Right.
And then...
Loki was sort of hologramming it up, right?
Yeah. And then Carnilla was helping Baldur to get help for Thor, because Baldur cannot help Thor. And the help that he got was the Silver Surfer.
Right, wasn't Loki also going to the fucking UN again?
Loki sent Durok to the UN.
Okay, right.
Because the UN is important, and it makes decisions that actually matter.
Yeah.
No, that's what Stan believes.
That's what Stan believes, yeah. So yeah, that's what happened. It was pretty not good. Let's see how Jerry wraps this whole situation up. Standing atop the peak of Mount Everest, Baldur and Carnilla witness the appearance of the Silver Surfer. The man himself seems to have no idea what's going on, wondering aloud if these two are the ones who called for him, which, given that they're the only ones around, seems like a silly question. At first he thinks they're human, but realizes there's something off about that.
Hold on, I saw something going on there. What? In the credits. Stan Lee, Overseer Supreme.
Well, yeah, editor.
He's still gotta be on there.
Well, yeah, he's the
editor.
At first he thinks they're human, but realizes there's something off about that, and descends to find out what they want. He finds Baldur the Brave's title to be a bit presumptuous, and is immediately disinclined to abide by his request. Baldur explains the situation and begs the surfer's aid, but Norrin Rad has pledged to never again dabble in the affairs of Earthlings, having been burned by their capricious nature one too many times.
You don't say!
Gripped with despair, Baldur begins to yell, pouring his whole heart into his pleas. Though she's been content to watch up till now, Carnilla has grown more agitated by the moment and finally lashes out, causing a small rock slide to bury the bold Asgardian. He lies still beneath the rubble, his face contorted with pain. Though he's not a fan of Earthlings, Norrin finds this reaction to be a bit over the top, and commands Carnilla to free the man. She refutes him, too, but her magic is deflected off of his gleaming skin.
Okay.
He then says something extremely sexist, which prompts her to obey his command and levitate the rebel off of Baldur.
Oh, wow, that's,
Yikes.
Yikes.
The surfer bends down to tend to the Asgardian, proclaiming that Carnilla's careless blow almost killed him, and she starts to cry in shame over her actions.
Baldur.
Yeah, I didn't put this in here, but, it's really fucking annoying that they are constantly forgetting or ignoring that Baldur is invulnerable, especially when they specifically wrote it into a Tales of Asgard. There was a Tales of Asgard story where that
specifically
happened.
covered that. See, I do appreciate, though, that Baldur gets almost as regularly damseled as Sif.
It's true, he does.
He's about as effective as Sif is, which,
No, he's more effective than
Really?
Sif, yes.
Well, he gets damseled as much.
He does.
He's in distress.
He gets damseled in a way that he's generally wharfed and then damseled.
Right, exactly.
Whereas Sif does not get wharfed.
No.
She just gets damseled.
So this whole exchange is a lot.
Yeah.
Once Baldur is brought back to consciousness, he despairs for a moment over having failed in his quest. Not so, says the surfer. His impassioned pleas touch the heart of the silvered man, who hops on his board and flies off to the aid of the thunder god.
There is something different about the pacing.
He's talking like he doesn't know who Thor is, so I feel like Jerry must have missed that issue of Silver Surfer that we read.
That's fair. That's entirely fair.
It's a lot to ask everyone who
It
have
is.
read everything.
It's true. During this whole tableau, Thor has been fighting with Durok on the streets of Washington, D.C., which is not where Loki said they were sending Durok.
Maybe...
They fought their way there.
From New York.
We missed a gripping battle on top of, a fucking moving train.
I don't know.
We cut away for this horse shit. I mean, not that I didn't actually appreciate this, because it is kind of fun still.
I don't know. Maybe Jerry Conway also thinks the UN is in D.C.
I don't think they ever thought the UN was in D.C.
I think Jerry Conway forgot that they were going to the UN.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair. That's also very fair.
Yeah.
So we're forgetting so much about what happened in the past.
Well,
That's awesome.
it could go either way because Jerry is really young at this point in time.
Sure.
Oh, how young?
Quite.
Like 20s?
Maybe still a teenager.
Holy shit.
An older teenager, like 18 or 19.
No, I'll give you that's sure, but damn, like 18
I'm not
or
sure.
19?
I would have to look it up to know for sure, but he's young.
Okay.
But I guess these kinds of inconsistencies are what you can expect when you change a writer in the middle of a story.
And you know, probably very little chance to get caught up on what's going on.
And I don't think it really particularly matters anyway.
Well, it's
Whichever
a stupid story
of the two,
anyway.
It's a
Yeah.
pointless. Okay, we're gonna go fight somewhere important.
Right. Duroc is preternaturally strong, with skin made of some kind of mystic stone, completely devoid of reason or feeling. He is utterly silent in his rampage of destruction, which unnerves the Thunder God more than anything.
That tracks, actually.
The Odinson delivers a mighty blow, but it barely staggers his foe. He then has to prevent Duroc from lifting an entire building full of people, and decides that the best way to do so is to crush the ground and plunge the both of them into the sewers. So if you have Thor digs a hole, go ahead and mark it off.
Thor also says the nay.
He did. He's gonna say it several more
Okay,
times.
Thor says the nay.
Which I don't have.
And
But I have Thor digs a hole.
do I have Thor digs a hole? I don't think I do. Damn.
I have Thor digs a hole.
Without missing a beat, Duroc rips a high-voltage cable out of the wall and electrocutes Thor with it. Not sure why that works, but whatever.
That seems wrong.
Yeah, but asking for an earlier was Carnilla that bitch earlier when
No.
I
Nah.
kind of didn't think
Carnilla was being an abusive spouse
Yeah.
earlier.
so. True.
The surfer arrives at that moment, spying the cracked ground and the Thunder God face down in the water. He observes the situation from above, but for a moment too long. Duroc notices him, and immediately strikes, knocking him off his board. The Demolisher then presses Norin down into the fetid waters, trying to drown him, as the surfer simply goes limp.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work.
No.
Can the Silver
It's a
Surfer...
distraction. It's a distraction.
After a long second, the mystical surfboard flies back to its master, giving Duroc
Yes!
a good thunk on the noggin.
Fuck
to knock
yeah!
him away.
Love it. Oh, hell yeah. Thank you, Jerry.
Now freed, Norin goes to check on the Thunder God. He is alarmed to find the golden-haired Asgardian limp, with no pulse. He ponders if a god can truly die.
The answer is
Because
yes.
it seems that Thor has.
Well, I guess Hela didn't have to wait too long on that return, huh?
No, she knew what was coming.
So, it's at this point in my note-taking process where I realized that I thought I was halfway through this issue, but I was actually about a quarter of the way through it, because someone decided that for his first issue on Thor, Jerry was going to come out swinging with a full 34 pages.
Oh, boy, why?
Despite the fact that it says this on the cover, I didn't realize until it was too late. So from now on, my descriptions are going to be much more heavily abridged to try to get through everything today, so just bear that in mind.
If we get chattery, we might cut it down to 2.
Yeah. Back in Asgard, Loki is having a feast to celebrate their imminent marriage.
Right.
This is the wedding rehearsal, then.
Something.
Something like that. As they reflect on the fact that no one can stop them from doing this, gross, they abruptly realize that Balder and Carnilla are gone.
You know, Loki's stupid outfit did stick around, didn't it?
Yep.
Oh, man. Loki, you need a new fit.
So
no,
did
I mean,
Sif's-
like, it stuck around from the last time he decided
Oh, yeah.
to do this with the fucking ring.
Yeah, it's the same outfit.
So is this just King of
King
Asgard Loki?
Yeah, King Loki outfit, yeah. For some fucking reason.
Awful.
It would be
Hideous.
funny if it made a reoccurrence in the modern era.
They immediately freak out, chasing all the trolls out of the room and physically holding Sif in place before activating the nearby royal flat screen. So if you have that, check it off.
I do believe I do have the royal flat screen.
It flickers to life, displaying the wayward couple. With a flick of their wrist, Loki summons them both back into the throne room, demanding answers. The Norn Queen attempts to deflect, but is shot down. Sif attempts to beg forbearance for the brave Balder, but gets completely ignored as the god of evil shoots a spell at the warrior.
Hey, I have Loki as sexist.
Yeah, go for it.
You don't, because Loki... Doth the brave Balder hide behind a female's flowing skirt?
Loki is also forcing Sif to marry them, so I think this entire fucking story gets a Loki as sexist.
Agreed, but that fucking line was really silly.
The spell doesn't hurt him, but changes his face into like a scaly green booger man.
Okay.
Okay.
Sif rushes to the side of Balder, proclaiming that his physical appearance isn't why she cares about him. Because that's not how friendship works.
That's not their relationship.
Right.
I feel like Carnilla also would have some words to say about this.
Yeah. For some reason she doesn't say anything about it, but I feel like she should have.
Right.
Loki continues to go on a big rant about how they are in charge and the best, and etc., etc.
Is this a third-person Loki situation?
Yeah. Obviously.
Dun dun dun.
'Tis Loki who be master.
That's what I thought. Loki speaks in the third person.
After a rant, they calm down and turn Balder back to normal, which is very Odin of them to do.
Yeah.
Wow.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, I guess. Then they decide to be a creep, and we're not going to dwell on it. Norrin Rad lifts the limp body of the Thunder God, proclaiming that he must live. The Surfer uses the power cosmic to heal the Asgardian, just like he did with Balder earlier, and Thor returns to life with a gasp.
Hey Norrin, are you some kind of god?
Might be.
He's got the power cosmic, and
Yeah.
he can do some wild shit with that.
Clearly.
He is quite surprised to see the Surfer, seemingly out of nowhere, but Norrin directs his attention back to Durock, who we find has been struggling to not be decapitated by the Surfer's board this entire time.
Oh my god.
He's just been off screen the whole time being
but
beaten
wait.
up by a surfer.
Thor does remember that
Yes.
they know each
Yes.
other.
Thor
Thor
recognizes
remembers
him.
it.
So it's not Cherry. It's
not
just
Cherry.
Norrin.
No. Just Norrin.
Norrin has... Hey. Norrin has memory issues. Respect him. He's not broken. He's just like this.
Well, Thor fills his buddy Norrin in on Durock's whole deal, as they both watch the Demolisher demolish his way back through a wall to escape from the board. The Silver Surfer proclaims that he will deal with this foe, while Thor returns to Asgard to fight Loki, and the Odinson is obliged to accept that deal, whirling his hammer until he shoots off across space. He arrives at the Rainbow Bridge to find Heimdall, who is not happy to see him. Loki's king now, which means that the Guardian of the Bifrost cannot permit Thor to pass.
There's nothing I can do.
There's nothing I can do.
It's the only option.
The two begin to fight, but with one throw of his hammer, the God of Thunder pushes Heimdall off the bridge.
Rip.
I'm not exactly sure how that happened. It's kind of difficult to follow visually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't need to try to analyze it.
I think he, tornadoed him over.
Yeah.
And then he swooshed.
As Heimdall flies into space, Thor immediately regrets his actions and laments that he must fight his comrades.
You just figured that out now.
He leaps off toward his friend, scooping him up and returning him to the Bifrost before continuing on to the city. Or he would, anyway, if it weren't being occupied by a whole army of giants.
Hey,
Oh
good
boy.
looking.
So you might have been thinking that we wouldn't resolve that business with Durock and the Surfer. But if so, you'd be mistaken.
That's
No,
what the extra
I
pages
don't
are
think
for.
exactly. I don't think that at all. I think that's what we're using all those pages
Well,
for.
I kind of thought when I saw that happen, when I was like, oh, you go away, I'll deal with this. I thought maybe they were going to cut to a Silver Surfer issue or something. But I think his series might actually be over at this point.
I think it is, yes.
That would make sense. That's why he's doing all this stuff here.
The two face off in the sewer, while Norrin monologues so hard that he forgets to avoid being sucker punched. He climbs onto his board and once again presses it toward the Demolisher, who grabs onto it to avoid being pushed into the wall again.
Wait, hold on. He didn't just monologue. He monologued what the Destroyer was doing,
Yeah.
including the part where he gets hit.
Yeah. Well, Durock doesn't talk, so in fight scenes with Durock, whoever's fighting him kind of has to carry
Because we don't trust the artists.
all of the dialogue. But this time, it veers upward, sending them both high into the sky, where Norrin has the advantage.
Oh no, they're gonna destroy the giant phallic symbol of Washington, D.C.
Not for long, though, because he flies a little too close to the Washington Monument, allowing Durock to sink his fingers into the stone and cling like a tick to its surface. The surfer takes a moment to recover, which gives the Demolisher enough time to drop back to the ground and resume his rampage amongst the nearby tourists.
Ooh.
Norrin attacks with a blast of energy, but Durock shoots one right back, which is a thing I didn't know he could do.
Right, a thing he hasn't done up to this point.
Right. Having
New writer.
successfully unhorsed the surfer, Durock seizes the glittering board and bends it until it shatters into inert pieces.
Holy shit.
But don't worry, Norrin just puts it back together with I-beams. And it's fine.
Okay, he could do that.
He could do that.
That seems reasonable and feasible for him, frankly.
Putting it back together, I understand. The I-beams, not so much.
Nah, I'd buy the beams.
Okay. Well, Durock walked away during that sequence, so Norrin has to go find him again. I guess in the intervening couple of minutes, the army has gotten involved.
Yep.
And,
Have
not
gotten
going
And is
well.
getting wharfed, which, fair play, they are right outside the Capitol building.
Yep.
They're gonna be anywhere.
The Silver Surfer streaks toward the Demolisher, scooping him up once again, he has one move, and carrying them both back into the sky.
No, he has two moves. He has beams.
Yeah, that's true. The two duke it out on top of the board as Norrin telepathically commands his mount to break the atmosphere and orbit the planet at blinding speed, literally pulling a Superman and traveling into the far future, where the
What?
Earth is nothing but a bombed-out husk of its former self.
Cool.
He can do that?
Yep. The Demolisher, finally felled by this experience, can't resist as Norrin deposits him among the ruins and departs, and that's it.
Okay.
That's the end of Durock the Demolisher.
That's a satisfying, acceptable answer.
Do we ever see him again?
No.
Literally-
Obviously not.
Well, this is comics.
Here, let me double check. Oh, no. Nope, he does appear again. I lied.
He appears in the 90s, though.
Yep.
So, technically once.
Well, now back to our titular character, who is battling several giants at once.
That shouldn't be too hard.
No, they come one after another, none faring particularly well against the Thunder God. But at this point, it's more about the persistence. Loki is attempting to wear him down with repeated battles, and seemingly is succeeding.
That's...
He gets pinned to the fucking wall by
Yeah, he
his
does.
cape.
I'm shocked. Thor's usually more on his game than this.
Well, he's also been fighting Durock for a while.
Yeah,
And he
did
was
die.
dead like 10
right.
minutes
But,
ago.
but you'd think, I don't know, the Power Cosmic would just, fix all that.
I'd like to take a brief moment to point out that Thor specifically says that he killed these giants, which I think is the first in-text confirmed kill.
Oh.
Like, we assumed we had before, but it was always kept vague and a little bit uncertain with Stan.
Oh,
Yeah.
we've got something new going on then.
Jerry just decided, no, he killed them.
We're moving into the Bronze Age.
It's the 70s.
70s. We kill people now.
We kill people now, but don't worry, they don't stay dead.
Despite his fatigue, Thor presses on, driven by anger and a need to rescue his lady love. He stalks through the palace and breaks down the door, where he's stunned to find Sif in an outfit.
Oh.
Hot.
Wow. Wow.
I
that's,
really don't know what to make of this outfit.
is she performing in Vegas?
No, I'm seeing Carnival meets Dolly Parton.
Yeah. Clearly this is meant to be an Asgardian wedding dress, but it's just kind of random and over-designed and way too revealing.
Oh boy.
Asgardian clothes have always been kind of generic and badly designed, but this is just a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Jesus Christ.
Also, the headpiece is so much. Thor steps forward to embrace his lady, questioning what the fuck she's wearing, and yeah, same. As Sif reminds him that she is being forced to marry Loki, wouldn't you know it, the god of mischief appears at that very convenient moment.
Wow, you're not supposed to see your bride in her fucking wedding attire.
The Odinson moves to fight his sibling, having had just about enough of their bullshit. But Loki crumbles the ground beneath him, sending him tumbling into some kind of arena somewhere. I don't know why this was below the room they were in, because it looks like it's outside, but that doesn't make any sense.
Huh.
Anyway, there's more giants here that Thor will have to deal with in the next issue.
Okay.
So what did you guys think of that one?
I think all that battle was taking place in the dressing room just off the Royal Box Office, apart just off the side of the arena. And I've fixed it. It's all fixed. It's all good now.
Well, what about the comic, though?
Oh. Yeah, I guess 3 stars.
It was an comic.
3 seems generous to me.
That was fine. Nothing happened that bothered me too much.
This is gonna feel a little mean, but I think the Silver Surfer stuff was more interesting than anything the Thor characters had to offer on this one.
I disagree.
Although, I will say it is weird that Thor killed some guys.
I don't think it should be weird at all for a Viking warrior god.
No, but given the Thor we've known up until now, it's just weird that he stressed that he killed them.
New writer, new rules, baby.
I know. I'm not saying otherwise. Just 2.5.
Okay. I'd give it a 2, personally, but that's mostly just because the story is fucking stupid, but that's not Jerry's fault.
No, but there's not much he could do to fix it.
Let's go ahead and move on to Thor number 194 from September of 1971, written by Jerry Conway, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Sal Buscema, and lettered by Artie Simek. Loki and Sif watch as Thor is clutched in one giant hand, each prepared to witness his demise.
Quite literally a giant hand.
Yes. At Sif's helpless cries for mercy, Loki decides that the two of them are going to stop watching and leave.
Ah.
Cool.
That's one way to stop being distressed about death.
Got a wedding to get to. Come on. You're not gonna get your fucking deposit back for all these goddamn services if you stop for this fucking fight.
Once they're gone, Thor, turns into Donald Blake.
If that's a Thor turns into Don for no reason, if I ever fucking saw one.
I mean, yeah.
Well, the thing is, we have long since established in text that he doesn't do that when he's in Asgard.
Okay.
But I guess Jerry didn't get the memo on that one. Or doesn't care.
Yeah, it's weird.
Anyway, the transformation takes the giant by surprise, and he drops the now mortal Don, who scrambles to pick up Mjolnir once again.
Stuck the landing pretty good for a man with a bum leg.
Right.
Wow, he even leaped for it.
He does so, and then makes pretty swift work of the giants, before whipping up a wind tunnel to remove them from the realm entirely.
Was this just to establish that Dawn exists?
Yeah. His obligatory appearance.
God.
Thor moves to the stairs, where he is greeted by a whole bunch of trolls. Not too smart of them to attack him here, as we can all see that he has the high ground, Anakin.
Oh my god.
Right. That line pisses me off every time. Like, Obi-Wan didn't fucking clear up the entirety of episode 1 by beating a bitch with the high ground. He cut him in half! Anyway, I think Sif only exists to motivate the menfolk. This should have been crossed off long before, but I think it's fair now.
I agree. As he begins to demolish the trolls, several of his fellow warriors watch from above with shame.
There's nothing we can do. It's the only thing.
There's nothing they can do. They're bound to serve Loki, and they can do nothing to aid their prince, even though the odds are stacked against him.
These are the rules, and we're lawful evil.
I would say lawful neutral.
I don't know. They're doing this because they have to, and this doesn't feel neutral to me.
They're just folk. They're not actively choosing not to.
They're not actively choosing to hurt people. They're just abiding by the law.
Even if the law is evil.
Well, that sounds
That's
neutral
the
to me.
lawful part of the spectrum here.
Looking back to the throne room, it seems that Loki isn't doing very well himself. They feel a strange fatigue setting in, and a mysterious pain with no clear cause.
Guilty conscience.
What? Loki with a conscience?
I didn't say that. As they ponder this, Sif arrives, accompanied by a bridal procession. She is resolute, despite the despair curling in her stomach, determined to not have her spirit broken. Loki watches approvingly, until another spike of pain shoots through them.
I mean, I have Sif as emotional because she's a woman, but I don't think this is all just because she's a woman.
No, I think this is entirely reasonable to be emotional about.
While this is going on, the Warriors 3 are fighting their way through a bunch of trolls guarding the Odin sleep chamber. I'm not going to dwell on it, but for the sake of your bingo cards, Volstagg is not being a coward.
Yep.
And Fandral is being extra.
Yes.
It's almost every time you see Fandral, he's being extra.
Exactly. Almost. Not every time.
True, like the time he was being
The
mind
past
controlled.
couple times he's been around, he hasn't been extra.
To be fair, he was also being mind controlled.
Now back to the wedding, which is unceremoniously crashed by Thor battering down the door.
I object!
Exactly. He challenges Loki directly, and the trickster is obliged to accept. From the balcony above, Baldur laments that he is prevented from fighting at his friend's side. Carnival tries to reassure him in a way that feels more like manipulation than genuine reassurance.
All these rom-coms where the motherfucker bursts through the door like, I object, they really need to devolve into fighting, like brawling. Like, I think this is a nice development. I'm into it.
Yeah. Baldur and Carnilla kiss for the first time on screen.
Oh shit!
Yo!
Baldur's boner reappears?
Yeah, I'd say go for it, because
This is progress.
the way he reacts,
He
can't deny how he feels about it, but he still feels that he will be seen as a traitor to his people forever.
I don't know, the placement of that sword just feels suggestive.
The Norn Queen gets mad that he cares about it and yells at him, because this relationship is normal and healthy.
Yeah, you guys are doing great.
It's great.
There are so many stories going on here. The Warriors 3 have reached the Odin sleep chamber, where Hogun goes to rouse their sleeping liege.
Hey, when did they start heading for the Odin sleep chamber? Because this just kind of seems out of nowhere.
2 pages ago.
Cool, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I did feel like it came out of nowhere.
Glad I didn't miss a story beat somewhere in here.
Nah.
He is hit with a powerful blast for his trouble, as all 3 fall back in the wake of the Allfather.
Oh, god damn it.
He's pretty mad that they woke him up from his nap, and he lets them know that he's still not going to do anything about the situation, so this whole diversion was pointless.
I love his bathrobe.
His
robe
is great, though.
I like to consider it his bathrobe.
I don't recognize it.
It's never been seen before. Having killed all the trolls barring his path, it is mentioned again.
Ooh.
Thor moves to battle with Loki head-on. The latter raises their hand, preparing to use the power of the ring to strike down their mortal enemy, but a sudden surge of pain originating at the ring cuts them off. In blind fury, they grab a huge battle axe and the two begin to fight.
Loki, you're not good at this physical violence thing.
While Thor is weary from countless battles before this, while Loki is still empowered by the ring, and very quickly gains the upper hand. Yet, as they poise to strike the final blow, they are once again racked by a pain which nearly blinds them with its severity. They scream as their flesh begins to wither, the pain only increasing by the moment, until finally they pull the ring off and fling it to the ground, where it is retrieved by Odin, who had apparently expected this all along, and had only been biding his time until it happened. He banishes Loki, along with their army, and sits atop his throne once more.
This is a Deus Ex Odin if ever I saw one.
Thor and Sif embrace in relief, vowing to never be driven apart again. Odin explains that there is only one person strong enough to wear the Odin ring. The name might give it away.
Thor.
And
Thor's the one.
That this is because the ring actually siphons your power, rather than adding to it. I actually kind of like that idea.
Well,
Yeah.
That the ring is just a tool to draw out and focus your energy, rather than like an all-powerful MacGuffin that can just do anything.
Yeah, I'm into it.
That actually squares the circle of this fucking ring way better than Stan ever managed to do.
Right? It's actually interesting.
That actually kind of makes some sense out of this whole ridiculous ring nonsense.
The vizier, he runs onto the scene.
As this is being explained, the royal vizier bursts into the room with grave news. He beckons his king to the cosmic well, where he is shown the whereabouts of the villainous Loki. I guess Odin was so eager to be rid of them that he didn't bother to consider where he was zapping them to, because they're now on a planet where something very dangerous has been entombed. As the image of Loki cackles gleefully, Odin realizes his folly and proclaims that he has doomed them all. Good going, buddy.
Whoopsie!
What did you guys think of that issue?
3 stars. I stay at 3 stars. I'm liking it.
I do think Jerry decided, I'm done with this story. I am really done with this story.
I'd go with 3 too, because I like this one better than the last one.
Yeah.
It kind of actually wasn't a bad ending.
No, we've taken some momentum here. It's good.
What's funny is, this may be the first okay Deus Ex Odin.
Well, it's not the first one, because there was the one with Searcher where they were building up to getting Odin to fight Searcher the whole time.
But I think that...
Which was actually the last time Loki had the ring.
But this one felt smoother?
Yeah.
Like, it felt like it made so much more sense.
Well, because it wasn't really Odin doing anything so much as he was just waiting for things to happen naturally.
Odin was teaching
and
Loki a lesson.
He was teaching a lesson, and then he just swooped in to explain what happened.
This is why you are dying, Loki. So yeah, 3. Sure. Shit. The hell?
So next we're going to read Thor number 195 from October of 1971, written by Jerry Conway, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Vince Coletta, and lettered by Artie Simek.
The trolls look different than I recall.
They sure do.
Yeah.
They look like monkey men.
They are monkey men.
Now that the evil conqueror has been vanquished once more, it's time to party.
What the fuck is this outfit this dancer's wearing?
I'm gonna touch on that, trust me. Unlike the previous parties, which were all decent approximations of Viking parties, this one feels distinctly more Grecian, with everyone lounging on piles of pillows and drinking from goblets while a girl dances in the middle of the floor. The dancing girl is a real hodgepodge of aesthetics that bothers me in so many ways. The scene as a whole is really touching on one of my biggest pet peeves about older Thor comics, which is the complete lack of commitment to the Norse aesthetic.
Oh god, Jerry knew even less about Vikings than Stan did, huh?
There is so much cool Viking shit you could use, and if you're adapting Norse mythology, the least you could do is fucking try. Of course, the level of effort varies based on the creative team, and while I wouldn't say that Stan and Jack were ever completely accurate, they were at least better than this nonsense.
Jerry and John know less.
Or care less.
Or both.
Or both. Anyway, now that I've gone on a tangent when I specifically said we had to do this quickly, let's touch on what's happening here. Thor is doting on Sif and says that he will marry her in a fortnight, which is the first we're hearing about it. But before we can touch on that more, Fandral decides to take the place of the dancing girl by doing a very silly sword dance.
Sure.
Despite the merriment, however, Odin seems to be in a dour mood. His brows creased, he sits in shadow, seemingly immune to the good cheer of his people. The Thunder God notes this with some concern, and approaches his father, begging to be brought into the loop on whatever is bothering him. Odin is like, well, I'm glad you asked, because I have to send you away forever. Thor is confused, but accepts the commands of his sire.
Because, I mean, it's not the first time he's been sent away forever.
Yep.
Nah.
And Odin rises to give his lordly commands. Thor is to go on a quest, and he is to take the Warriors 3 with him.
Yes!
Ooh.
Bro trip, bro trip, bro
Woo-hoo!
trip. The quest, should you choose to accept it.
Should you?
Go to the world... Yeah, you're forced to. Go to the world's end and defeat Kartag the Keeper to gain access to the Twilight Well.
Okay.
Whatever that is.
That's a bunch of new things.
Sure.
Sif objects to this, but is shot down, and she cries because she is a woman.
Of course.
Yes, as usual.
The 4 warriors stand resolute while Odin zaps them away, before turning to Sif with an explanation of sorts. What he has done was actually to protect Thor from an even greater danger. Yet, before he answers her questions any further, he calls forth the Valkyrie Hildegard
Yeah!
in her first ever named appearance.
Damn.
I say it that way for a reason, because CMRO claims that she actually appeared twice before this. Once in Journey into Mystery number 99, and once in the B story of Thor number 133. I went ahead and checked on these, and I find them to be dubious at best. In the first one, the only reference to any Valkyries is the generic blonde women who bring Thor his power belt. In the second one, there are some Valkyries attending to Hela, as she claims the soul of Herokin for Valhalla. Neither of these instances name her, nor do they really resemble her, besides being A, Valkyrie, or at least in name, or B, being blonde.
She's got burly, too.
She has a very specific and notable body shape.
And I think that's new for female characters in this.
It is very, very new.
Very hot.
So yeah, I'm gonna call bullshit on those two previous appearances. Anyway, Hildegard shows up, and Odin commands her to take Sif to some place called the Black World. And when Sif objects, Hildegard immediately decides to knock her out and carry her.
That seems like a really reasonable first reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While, the Allfather shoots them both off to their destination.
Hey, do we want to call that Sif gets captured?
That would be bingo for Ripley.
Well, I was gonna say yes, but now I have to think about
Wow.
it. No, I think that works.
Damn it.
Yeah! I think this is my first bingo.
It is.
Yeah!
Damn you, random number gods!
The only person who's won in bingo so far is me, and I got nothing for it.
Well, I won, and now I get nothing for it.
Great job.
I still haven't won yet.
Haha, loser.
As he does so, he basically says that he's doing this to save them from Asgard's impending doom, so that's fun. Sif awakens sometime later and immediately starts crying, but Hildegard is having none of that nonsense, and directs her attention to the urgent business of finding shelter.
Oh, God, I completely forgot. Time travel did fix it, didn't it, earlier?
Oh, I guess it did. I didn't even consider
yeah.
that because I only considered it out of Thor, but you're right.
You guys are getting so many spaces.
That was time travel.
This has been a very tropey episode.
Oh, hold on. No, Odin sitting Thor away like that. Is that a favoritism?
No.
Damn it.
He did send him away specifically to protect him as opposed to anyone else.
Him, the Warriors 3.
That's true, actually.
And Sif.
And Sif. He's picking...
Alright, fair.
Guess what?
Oh my god, both of you got a bingo.
That's a bingo!
Bingo!
I love how at the beginning we were like, we don't know how many spaces we're gonna get because things are different now.
It's bingo
And you
anarchy.
guys are-
Like,
have
look at
gotten-
this! Look at this!
Like-
It's bingo anarchy, but in the opposite way.
Right. More spaces have been checked off than I think ever before.
I mean, I've gotten this many occasionally, but
I fully am glad that Jerry is here.
Jerry, you wonderful, wonderful man.
Both
You
of
wonderful bastard.
Thor and the Warriors 3 arrive at the location of their quest, and after some discussion that is not important, the Thunder God uses his hammer to guide them toward their quarry. They journey to the south, where they come to a crevasse with a strange spindly bridge. They begin to cross, but the bridge turns out to be more like a calcified spider web, as a 6-armed monster appears to bar their path.
Okay.
Ooh.
This creature works for the Keeper, which we know because it says as much while shooting beams from its mandible.
Sure.
I wish it was like acid spit. That would be cool.
Thor starts to fight it, while Hogan and Fandral move to do the same, but instead slip and fall into the ravine. Not
Oh my
Volstagg, though,
God.
because he was hanging back.
Hell yeah.
The God of Thunder shoots the creature in the face, sending it tumbling after his friends.
Good job.
Then he flies down to catch them both, leaving the monster to plunge into some kind of liquid, I guess.
To not get caught.
I didn't know it was liquid, but he made a splash, so I guess it is. Thor flies them back to the top, and Volstagg joins them, having made it across the web without issue.
Wow.
Volstagg, the one competent one today.
Volstagg goat.
He held the rear, and he did a good job.
Back in Asgard, the Allfather looks on their progress approvingly. Maybe if they reach the well in time, disaster can be averted. Someone off-screen rejects this idea, and he turns to address his company. That being a group of wizened old warriors who seem to have once been companions of Odin himself.
Oh my god, it's his Warriors 3.
Now, Warriors 4.
He has his own bros.
Oh, I thought that was Odin. Okay, you're right.
Now recalled for a solemn duty, while the youngsters are kept out of the way. Odin directs their attention to the royal TV, which displays Loki's journey to uncover whatever dangerous force has been alluded to thus far. On a distant planet, the god of mischief climbs the highest peak and uses magic to force open the tomb of... Any guesses?
The Destroyer?
Kang?
Kang?
Kang, because we've encountered Kang in Thor comics before.
I don't know.
No, obviously it's the Mangog.
Oh.
Yo!
Oh.
With his
Wow.
butthole tail.
Oh god, get those things out of our face. He got even more ugly since the last time we saw him. Jesus Christ.
No, I don't think he got more
No, I think it
ugly.
looks the same.
Okay, well, he was very ugly then. He's very ugly now.
Loki attempts to bargain with Manny, but we all know from experience just how well that tends to go.
Yeah, he just kills gods. That's it. You cannot bargain with the man god.
Mangog hurls the trickster onto the ground before shooting out a blast that encases them in solid amber, which is a thing that I didn't know he could do.
That is a new skill, Mangog. Are you collecting gods now?
Oh, maybe that's what Odin's glowing seed is. It's just amber.
Now free, he takes his leave, preparing to march on Asgard yet again.
Wait, wasn't Thor like the only thing standing between Mangog and Asgard last time?
No, Odin was.
So, okay.
Thor tried to fight Mangog, but was not able to.
And this time he's not even going to get the chance.
We turn back to Odin and his comrades, where we actually do get something of an explanation for this. The Mangog has power and evil so strong that his existence continued, even though his purpose ended.
Ooh.
I guess that's better than nothing, but we are ignoring the fact that Mangog wasn't just created by the people he was avenging, but actually made of them.
Right, that's what I was gonna say.
And by removing all those souls, he stopped existing.
It doesn't matter. Blah, 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 blah.
Anyway, the Grey Team is ready to kick some ass. No one's gonna laugh at my Grey Team?
No.
Okay.
But though I am thinking about that movie with all the old fucks and Helen Mirren.
Oh.
Red?
Yeah, that's the one.
I was thinking about that too, but I wasn't sure how many people would get that reference.
We would have gotten the reference.
You guys would have gotten the reference. Well, they are retired extremely dangerous, so...
Well, and one more fight out of retirement to probably die at the hands of the Mangog.
Well, Thor and his buds have been walking long enough for Volstagg to develop blisters. Hogan asks if they should stop for a rest, but Thor has other ideas, as on the ridge above them is a verdant forest populated by the weirdest chocobos I've ever seen.
Ah, okay, they are kind of like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They don't have wings yet.
But they have beaks.
The four of them set to taming a mount each in a series of wacky hijinks.
They are very much wacky hijinks.
The Warriors 3 bro it up!
Hell yeah. Before proceeding through the weird mushroom-like trees. After a while, they encounter another snare, this time being set upon by a band of gangly trolls who pop up out of nowhere.
Those are the weirdest looking trolls.
Well, they're not really trolls, at least not the sort that we're used to, but I do find it kind of fun how the Asgardians decide to call them that for lack of a more accurate term. Like, you use the words that you know.
Perfect.
At first I thought that these guys didn't talk, but they do. They talk in these blue boxes, which is interesting, and makes me wonder what exactly they're meant to sound like. The fight goes on, with each of them fighting in their own way.
Oh, those fingers!
Yeah, they're like suction-y. With each of them fighting in their own way as the trolls attempt to overwhelm them with numbers. The Asgardians are triumphant, but then hear a cry for help from an unexpected source. One of the trolls, caught in some quicksand and about to be swallowed.
Huh.
Thor rips up a nearby tree to save the creature. Hogan questions the wisdom of this plan when they were just fighting these guys, but the Odinson gives him a stern lecture, saying that there is no honor to be found in the death of a defenseless foe. He then saves the troll, whose name is Kygar. Kygar vows to serve as Thor's slave, but Thor isn't comfortable with that.
Well, it's neat that they can understand each other, even though Kygar speaks in blue text boxes and Thor speaks in white text boxes.
Well, that's because Asgardians speak every language.
True.
Thor isn't comfortable with that, and begs of him friendship instead. Kygar takes the role of their guide, leading them through the jungle toward the Twilight Well. Elsewhere, Sif and Hildegard have happened upon a town. Hildy muses about this, feeling certain that Odin never mentioned such a thing existing upon Blackworld. On top of that, the streets are completely deserted, and there's an air of fear about the place. In the interest of clearing up this mystery, she knocks on the door of the inn. The door opens to reveal a shaggy old man who informs them that everyone is hiding because a mysterious he is coming, and if they have any brains at all, they'll do the same.
So why don't you let them inside, you miserable old fuck?
Well, he doesn't do that. He slams the door in their faces.
He is indeed a miserable old fuck.
He is. Back in the Golden City, the time has arrived. As Odin muses on his balcony, the Vizier rushes in to inform him that the Mangog is here, and now is the time for battle. Knowing that he has no hope of defeating this foe, the Allfather prepares to fight to the very last, even as the warriors guarding the northern wall fall in despair at the feet of the unstoppable Mangog.
I like our splash page here.
Wow.
What did you guys think of that one?
3 stars.
That was different.
I'm staying at 3.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, at least 3.
It
felt different.
It definitely feels different.
Our pacing is back.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Pacing is finally back. Pacing has re-entered the building.
True. I felt like even in that first one, the pacing was different.
I didn't like the first one as much because it was more just kind of mopping up what Stan started.
Oh, you're not wrong, but the pacing did feel different.
It was definitely different.
Pacing felt different. Even some of the panel structure feels different now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird thing, because it's not like we've replaced artists, but we have replaced writers.
Well, the writer has some say on the page structure.
Well, it's like making stage directions
Mm-hmm.
when you're writing a screenplay.
Yep.
At least a 3, yeah.
You're at 3?
Yeah.
Alright, 3's all across the board. I think that's going to be it for us this week. Knocked out that last one quick, but the pacing is much improved
Yes.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But so yeah, that's going to be it for us for this week. This is our first time with Jerry at the wheel on Thor, so
Not hating
that's going to
it.
be fun. Yeah. Not next week, but the week after, we're going to be taking a break because we are moving.
We mentioned that months ago.
Yeah.
But we're finally doing it.
Yeah,
It's a whole thing.
It's
we
a
don't
whole
need to get
thing.
into it.
We're finally doing it. We're finally moving. Should just be the 1 week off. But other than that, it's just the regular stuff. Tell us what you think about Jerry's pacing. Much improved? Do you miss the Homestuck second person?
God.
Email us at comicsplaining@gmail.com. If you want to get your one and only chance to potentially get a Stanger bingo card, that's going to be this time. So join us over on Discord. We put a link every episode. Join us over on YouTube if you want to see and judge for yourself whether the Mangog is uglier or less ugly. Those
He
are the
looks
only
the
two
same.
options. You don't get equally ugly,
He looks
just
the
those.
same. He looks the same. Actually, he doesn't have his pink shorts anymore.
There you go! So join us over on YouTube where we put out a video version of the show where you can see various little clips we took of the stuff we're talking about. And you can see my glorious and tremendous bingo victory.
You were not the only one to get a glorious and tremendous bingo victory.
That's true.
You were just first. And even then, you weren't really first.
So like, subscribe, hit the bell button, make a comment, do whatever you like over there. We would really appreciate that because it helps us, and particularly given the fact that we are going to be taking a week off, which doesn't go well. You can also join us over on Patreon. We just put out our battle with the asthma monster last week. We'll have some new little gem from the Marvel Archives for you this month before the month is out. So join us over on Patreon. You want to throw us a few bucks over on coffee, that's fine. But the thing you can do most of us, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your boss, rate, review, help. Just tell people about us, thank you. Other than that, we're going to be back to you next week, and we look forward to talking to you then. Bye!
Bye.
Bye.